I'm Tom with Trackside Profits, and today we're diving into the Pennsylvania Derby. This year's edition is stacked. It almost feels like a Triple Crown rerun. We've got a deep competitive field with speed, closers, and some live long shots. This is the kind of race that you can circle on the calendar because it always shakes up the 3-year-old picture heading into the fall. And if you want a real edge on this race and all the big 3-year-old races coming up, I put together an exclusive handicapping toolkit. It includes my free worksheet to help spot the best horses and weekly top picks that are hitting at a 60% clip the past 3 months. The link's in the description, and hundreds of people are already using it to win for free every weekend. Let's get into the full field rundown. Then we'll talk pace, and I'll give you my final picks. Let's get it started off with the 1-hole, So Sandy, trained by Cherie DeVaux and ridden by Kinder Carmouche. He's one that likes to press the pace. And last out, he came off a close second to Chancellor McPatrick in the Curlin Stakes. Now, DeVaux does a great job getting horses to outrun their odds, but on paper, this one looks just a step slow against the true Grade 1 types. From the rail, I think that Carmouche will likely try to get him up close to the pace, avoiding early traffic. But if he's asked at all to get that position, he won't have enough laid against horses like Gosger and Baeza. Number 2, Altobelli, is trained by John Nicholson Jr. and ridden by Angel Castillo. He's coming out of post number 2 and is one of the longest shots in the field, and rightfully so. He's been facing softer competition and hasn't shown the type of figures that you need to win a race like this. Now, the connections deserve credit for taking a shot, but unless he moves forward in a way that we haven't seen before, he's more of a pace factor at best. Coming out of post 3, we have Magnitude. He's trained by Steve Asmussen, and he's ridden by Ben Curtis. Now, Magnitude's an interesting one. He's shown flashes of some insane ability. He won by 10 lengths coming back from a foot injury, but then he stretched out to 1.25 miles in the Travers, and the distance just proved to be a little too much. He could definitely wire this one. He does have 2 of the fastest speed figures in the race, but he's going to be looking at a little bit of a more contested pace here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss a Trackside Profits rundown or betting strategy video. Coming out of post 4 is David of Athens. He's trained by Brendan Walsh and ridden by Tyler Gaffleone, and those are pretty good connections. He's got tactical speed, he's improving at the right time of year, and I think he's a little under the radar coming in. He worked last out with Gosger and gave him all he could handle, finishing the 5 furlong work in 59 seconds. He's versatile enough to sit close without needing the lead, and he can pressure Magnitude all the way if he takes another step forward. He's a legit contender to upset some of the bigger names in this one. Post number 5 gives us Happily Delusional. He's trained by Louis Linder Jr. and got Paco Lopez in the irons. Now, he's a horse that'll probably trail the pack early. And Lopez is usually an aggressive rider, but this horse just isn't naturally fast enough for him to have a say. He'll be a rightful long shot, and he'll have very little or no effect on the race. Number 6 is Goal Oriented. He's trained by Bob Baffert, and he's ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr. This is Baffert's big gun. He's got speed, he's got fast figures, and he's paired up with one of the top jockeys in the country with Ortiz. Baffert's won this race before, and this one fits the mold of his typical runners. If he brings his A game, he's going to be very tough to beat. But he does have to show that he can take down his main rival in Gosger, who's beat him in back-to-back races. Post number 7 belongs to Big Truzz. He's trained by Brian Lynch and ridden by Javier Castellano, and Truzz is a hard-knocking type with some solid races on his resume. Lynch is one that spots him well, and Castellano knows how to nurse a horse around the track. But the problem is that he tends to flatten out against the very best when he's going longer than 1 mile. To me, he feels like the kind of horse who's going to go and run a respectable 4th or 5th, but with the other talent in here, the 1 1/8 miles just seems a little bit too far. Coming out of the 8 post and shipping in from California is Baeza. He's trained by John Sheriff and ridden by Hector Berrios, and he's one of the most intriguing runners in the race. Baeza's always hinted at a big talent, running behind either sovereignty, journalism, or both in his last 4 races. And Sheriff's is patient with these types. He could really pop in a spot like this, especially if the pace heats up like expected. He's got that late kick, and Berrios has been riding with a lot of confidence this year. I think that Baeza is the most dangerous horse in the race, and probably the most likely winner. Post number 9 gives us Gosger. He's trained by Brendan Walsh and ridden by Luis Saez. Walsh sends out a second runner here, and this one gets the services of Saez. Now Gosger isn't quite as fast early as David of Athens, and Saez is going to use that. I could see him sitting in the second flight, just behind the leaders and trying to pounce, turning for home. He's a really consistent horse, never finishing worse than second, and he looks to run another big race coming off some impressive workouts in the mornings. Number 10 is Mo Plex. He's trained by Jeff Englehart and ridden by Jose Ramos. Mo Plex drew the outside post. That's not the worst spot since he's got plenty of speed. And he's not totally out of place in this one. The question is whether he can get back to that Ohio Derby performance, because that's the kind of effort it'll take for him to contend. If he shows up with that race, he could hang around for a piece, but anything less and he's up against it. Looking at the pace, this race has several horses who want to be forwardly placed. Magnitude is fast and dangerous, but he's not going to get an easy lead with David of Athens, Altobelli, and Mo Plex also showing speed. So that could set things up for a horse like Baeza, who wants to drop back and make one big run, or even Gosger, who can sit right off the pace. Now the pace picture is key. If they go too fast early, the race completely changes complexion, and it becomes Baeza's game. If the front runners manage to ration their speed, then it's Goal Oriented or Gosger's race to lose. My top pick is going to be Gosger. He's tactical, he's tough, and he should get first run on the tiring leaders. In a race with this much pace, I love his setup and I think he's sitting on a big one. His main threat is Baeza. If things really heat up early, he's the one I trust to mow them down late. He's got the fastest late pace figures in the field, and Sheriffs has spotted him perfectly here. My other contenders are Goal Oriented. He's got the class and IRAD in the saddle. Plus, Baffert's always dangerous in a spot like this. And Magnitude. He's the speed that I take seriously. If he shakes loose, he's going to take him all the way. If you want even more, I've got a free emails list where I send out weekly picks, plus my free handicapping worksheet. It's the same tool I use to break down races like this one. And the links are in the description. We've been on a roll lately. 4 out of 5 winners in September with 1 scratch. And 13 of our last 20 overall, including a massive 45-1 exacta last week with Fion and Candy Quest. Join hundreds of people winning for free every weekend. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a Trackside Profits race rundown. Let's cash some tickets this weekend. I'm Tom, and I'll see you at the track.